happen. Good morning, YouTube. It is coffee time with Coach Jah in the building. I'm here. I'm ready. It's going down. I need to show the new shirt. The new shirt. Put me in, Coach. It's available. It's available. Holla at me. Holla at my brother Witz. We'll get you one. I love the shirt. You have no idea. Songbird in the building. Songbird, I have not forgotten. I'm going to reach out to you because I definitely want to get up with you. You already know what it is. Let's make some magic. I've been there back in '91. Where you been, Mike? Oh, for real? Was you in the military then, Mike? Lyric J in the building. Good morning. I'm excited even though I'm sleepy. And I don't know what that means, but I'm here anyway. I'm here anyway. So yeah, I'm just chilling. I'm just chilling right now. I'm just enjoying this moment and I'm trying to feel my way through this day. I'm excited about some stuff that I'm doing, some stuff that I'm working on. You know, it's hard doing um, running your own business. Like depending on what your business is, it's not an easy thing. I have not learned. I'm still learning some aspects of the business part of what I do, but it's not as easy as I thought it would be. Looks awesome. Thanks. Love that shirt. Thank you. Listen, um, I found a design and I shot it to Witz. He put it on the shirt. Boom. Here we go. Venus, what's good? So that's what it is, man. I love the shirt too. I'm telling you, I cannot. I'm not going to give you, like I said, you can't get the shirt with the two colors. Only one color. You can only get like the one plain. You can't get the sleeve. The sleeve that's like a signature thing for me. So I'll be the only person walk around with to put me in coach like this. Respect to my slam shirts too. You get the plain color with whatever color you want on here. So holla at Wits and we'll get you straightened out. You can holla at me too. I'll get you straightened out. Ain't no big deal. And just holla at your boy. Yeah, Lyric J says, me too, sleepy, but I'm here. I'm enjoying learning from your show. That's awesome. I'm glad that we can teach some things. Listen, this is what I woke up. This was on my mind this morning, right? I'm not going to talk bad about this new hip hop stuff, but I'm going to say the best, and I want y'all's opinion. First of all, if you say anything that's like this 2000 stuff, your vote don't even count. If anything is 2000 and newer, your votes don't even count. But what was, Shanna, please? Can you see it now? Hopefully you can see it. What was Diva on Wheels in the building? Good morning. What was the dopest MC collaboration ever with more than one rapper on it? What was the dopest one ever? Ever. I'm talking about ever. I don't care. But it can't. You can't tell me this mumble rap stuff. I'm not. That's not going to count because what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is people who did not sound the same. Sound Dr. Allen. Good morning, my brother. People who did not sound the same. Had their own style and none of their stuff sounded the same, and they had actual lyrics. Like their lyrics was like hitting. You know what I'm saying? So the symphony was always going to be top of my list, man. The symphony was dope. Big Daddy Kane, Coogee Rap, Craig G. I mean, they freaked it. It was totally like every line for line, bar for bar was dope as I don't know what. So who's your favorite hip hop collaboration? More than one. Okay, let's put it like this. More than two rappers on it at a time. Let's do that because that's going to wipe out a lot of this new stuff anyway. More than two rappers at a time. The dopest ones. Give me your dopest one. And so I want to see where my hip hop head's at. I want to see where my hip hop head's at because I get tired of hearing. I listen to old school hip hop all day. That's just what it is. I'm reggae, R&B, old school hip hop. Jazz is without precedence. You could just turn the music on and put on jazz. Oh, okay. I'm going on YouTube. All right, come on, Mike. Come on YouTube, Mike. Matter of fact, let me send Mike this link because Mike might need to come in here. Mike, you might need to come in here today because I want to talk about this real hip hop stuff. I want to talk about when hip hop, Mr. Cheeks and Freaky Tile, but there was the group. Like I want like a combination that was not. There wasn't necessarily See, because they was Lost Boys together, and they was cool. Reason why they would never make my top 5 is because they can't freestyle. Grand Poop and Brand Nubians, yes, 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 yes. Now we rocking because they had bars. In fact, a little known history, a little known fact that y'all might not know. The Brand Nubians did a song, "I'll Keep Holding On," and they had a brother on there singing. His name was Star. Star is a good. Well, Star passed away a couple of years ago, but Star was a friend of mine. That brother could really, really sing, man. And rest in peace, Star. He was on that joint. So if you YouTube Brand Nubians, "I'll Keep Holding On," he's singing the chorus. He's singing the hook in that song. He got an amazing voice. He was like a new age Teddy Pendergrass. Yeah, yeah. Kendra, what up? "I'll Keep Holding On," or it might be "Holding On," but Brand Nubians, by Brand Nubians. I might be "Holding On," but he says "I'll keep holding on." Ramadan, I got your information. I got you straight. I'm gonna take care of you. Mike said he's not a big hip hop head, but he's gonna come on in. Okay. LJ. Say again.
We talking about hip hop?
Yeah, I'm talking about hip hop. I'm talking about. Hold on? Do you consider Redman, Method Man a group? Meth was no Redman and Method Man. They're not a group. They just were touring together, and they found a great combination. And matter of fact, DJ Dice, who DJs for them, Dice used to live down the block from me. That's my man's right there. Actually, DJ Dice, he's on YouTube too. On IG, you can follow him. He does a live all the time and plays music. So I don't consider them a group because they're not a group. They just been touring together for years now. I mean, they've probably been touring together for about a decade. They've probably been touring together for about a decade together, or maybe more, but at least that. Yeah. But I don't consider them a group, no. So Kendra, you don't. Well, first of all, how's your morning going? Let's do that first before I get you excited with music, because we might lose you in this one. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm already lost.
Oh hell, she said she already lost.
It's very interesting because they closed our schools down yesterday.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Do you want to know why?
Why?
There was a threat of rain and winds.
Huh?
Yes. So, yeah.
Because of rain and wind.
Yes. Rain and wind. Rain and wind. No school. Oh, but there is school because what they do now is because with COVID, all the kids in this district anyway, all the kids have laptops. So they just send the schoolwork home and they close the school down. And look, let me tell you, it's barely drizzling outside.
They closing the school down?
It's not raining here, but rain and wind, that's interesting.
They closing the school down?
Mm-hmm.
Let me know when to put a sale sign on it.
The sale sign?
Yes, I need to build a couple studios.
What?
Yo, there's a church around the corner, man, that got for sale sign on them. I said, man, well, I can figure that out. Maybe that couple studios, some other things,
it's
man.
just for today.
I'm just saying, if it stay like that, COVID ain't going nowhere.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm praying that I get my facility this year. That's my prayer for this year. I don't know how that's going to work, but that's my prayer for this. I want my own facility. And
you found a building yet?
I know a spot that's building up. I'm just gonna go ahead and act like I already have the money and start looking into it.
See, that's what we didn't do. We didn't go around with no buildings while I was down there.
Well, there's some that there's a few new places that are building up now that are in areas that are being gentrified, and so it's easy to get in those. And so I got to do my best to get my stuff in order so I can at least be in the running.
Oh yeah, I've seen those. I saw those first time I went down there. I said, okay,
yeah. So gentrification is an ugly thing, but it's allowing some opportunity for some things to come in.
There's a couple spots down on the outside of the tracks, on the edge of the city. I said, ooh.
Yeah. And see, I don't want to move. I don't want to be on the outskirts.
Yeah, you want to be down in the middle of the thing.
Right. And because gentrification makes it possible, I just have to make sure that I have my stuff in order to do so.
Yeah.
So the month of April is going to be very eventful for me. I have a lot of different things going on. I have two big things that I haven't spoken about yet that I'm putting in the wind. Besides with all the stuff that's already going on, and with that being a thing, if I have to take all of that and make that be my my way in, that's what it'll be, because
Hey,
I just want to make sure I have my own facility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll be able to make so much more noise with what I'm trying to do with my own spot.
Yeah.
but by you being in touch with a couple power movers though, you might be able to get in a little faster too.
Yeah, the key is when get in before they break ground. Well, when they break ground, they say okay, they go when they for sale. That's what you get it for dirt cheap. And I'm just going to go ahead and pray that everything works out for me to be there.
So what kind of facility are you looking for? Like a big,
Me too.
you looking for like a big space, or like what
So,
exactly do you envision with it?
So for me, I see a space where I have seating for no more than 50 to 60 people.
Mm-hmm.
And I want the dark curtains. I want to have the stage up front with the spotlight on it. My own equipment set up for that with a mic, because I want that to. So the goal is to have a place where I want the funding to help children come in for free, and that I teach them how to write for free. I want other folks to pay for that. I don't want children to have to pay for that, and I want children who are in areas who are not. They're just not getting the information. They're not getting the arts, and I want them to read. I want them to know how to read poetry, how to write poetry, all forms of it, prose, sonnets, everything. I want them to learn how to write and how to understand it, and I want them to be able to create. Which that's the easy part for me, but I also want them to be introduced to artists who actually, go ahead and create art, and they can write poetry to the art right then and there on the spot. I want to be able to do those things with children, because what I'm realizing is that a lot of these children don't read well, and they're not being taught well enough to read, and then they definitely can't read, they can't write well.
Yeah.
And if you don't read and write well, you don't necessarily talk well. You might be able to, but you don't necessarily talk well. And so I want to be able to have finances that cover the expenses, so the children don't have to cover that, and I can have them coming in. And my money will go to bringing other poets in from out of town and out of state to do workshops throughout the week and stuff like that. So that's a goal. You know what I'm saying? I want to bring AJ here. I want to bring Moody up. People who actually do workshops. I want them to actually. I bring them in town. They stay here, and they actually that's what they're doing for the week. And
all I can do for Moody is send him a car and just give him some food. He'll be all right.
You know, good, right?
So what is the busing system like in Charlotte?
What do you
I know
mean?
you have buses downtown, but do they bus? Like, do you have city buses that go to the I guess it would be the outskirts or those areas where those kids would live, to bus them into like a downtown area?
That's a very good question. So the buses do go to the outskirts, and the buses all come to one center, which is connected to the light rail, which is the train that they have here. And so where I'm looking at the stop, they would get off on the train. They could walk to my facility in probably 2 minutes.
Okay. Right.
And so that would be ideal for me. It's easy to get to the light rail, and it's better because everybody, no matter what you do, coming from all the outskirts on the outside of Charlotte, they all come inland to one main specific place. And so that means that we can have people that can actually, know we know the routes they're coming from, and parents can get them here. We know that they won't be traveling alone on that light rail coming to the particular place. So there's a lot of particulars in that I do like. And then, funding might allow me to have that set up where somebody could actually be there and they meet a specific time and everybody ride on the train collectively. So there's a lot of different scenarios from that, but that's a very good question, Kendra. Very good question.
I just asked because I've in the past I worked with it was a tutoring I don't know thing, but we went into like the inner city locations and worked with those kids. We had, of course, we went to them. So it was like each housing development had there was a grant for the housing developments, and then they would find people to come into their community centers that were there on site and then we would go in and do different things with the kids there.
Yeah.
So that's why I was asking. Because I know sometimes transportation is a huge issue for kids that are in inner city. You know, in some North Carolina's not going to be as bad as it would be in a bigger city per se. But I just know that that's sometimes a challenge for them. It's a good idea to have. I don't know if there's a way to link it with something for the parents, because the parents would get something out of it. As well.
Absolutely.
So that's just one of the. I know my brother-in-law used to work with the Fatherhood Coalition, and so they were always looking for different programs for the fathers to be able to bring their kids to, and that way they were, it was building relationship for the families as well as doing something for the kids, and then they're meeting the requirements of the grants.
Yeah. Part of some of the things that I want to do, right? I'm glad you said that, because part of it, I definitely want to have it where there's tutoring going on at my facility, obviously, especially math, right? Math is a subject that a lot of people struggle with, and as adults too. And so once you're out of school, some of this stuff you don't necessarily go back and revisit. But part of what I want to do like daddy daughter, daddy son, mommy daughter, mommy son. I want to do those kind of workshops where they actually get to write and participate together collectively. Mm-hmm. And so it helps build those relationships just like that. I have tons of different projects and different, not necessarily poetry writing, but just different projects that they can work on. I have friends who do, what they do, the painting sips. And so they can do the paintings. I'll have all of those things there for certain things. I want to definitely have family day on Saturdays, right? Mm-hmm. And that would have to be, even though I can only seat a certain amount of folks, I can do it in sections. And then, okay, if you've been this week, we got to give someone else a chance to follow a week and so on and so forth. They have to register for and stuff like that. But my goal is to make this stuff as free and affordable to folks as possible. And so if my bills are paid and then we're getting grant money to pay for the supplies, that's awesome. Another beautiful thing is that the supplies that I need aren't like, it's not like we got to spend billions of dollars on it. And so I've learned that there's some things that I can actually do to make sure that these, it's not expensive for them. And I can get, like I said, I like to have 50 people in at a time. And that's away from who's helping me with the programs. And I have tons of different artists who do work, and this will be right up the alley, stuff that they want to do, because they get to actually make this a part of the resume. They get to learn different things. I learn something every time I do a workshop. Every writing session I do, I learn something. And so I'm sure it's the same way for other artists too. And I want to present that for them. I want to have a situation where they'll do, maybe they'll do poetry in motion for their parents. So look what we've been working on. This will be working on for a month. You know what I mean? Working on for 2 weeks. And then they can actually bring the parents in, and the parents are sitting down and actually watching them perform. Those are the kind of things that I want to do. And I think that I see it, which is a great thing for me, because I can see it. I don't have to worry about what it looks like. I already know. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's just aligning everything else with what I need. And it's really tough. It's really tough because I'm finding the work. I'm making the connections. I'm putting things together, and I'm not that business guy like that. You know what I mean? But I'm learning it, wheeling and dealing, and it's a good ride. It's a good ride.
Yeah.
Well, two things about that is finding somebody that is a business guy, but you gotta make sure you know what they're talking about, so they won't drive you shaft. Also, when you see me again, me and my crew, we need to sit down and actually talk about this, because I know some stuff that my crew got, that want to help you with it, but we got to sit down and talk. We ain't doing this on air.
Let's just do a Zoom. We could do a Zoom.
No. You gonna see me again? My crew gonna be with me.
Oh, I know.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. When you see me again, my crew will be with me.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. Can't you stop smiling?
Why can't you stop smiling? I'm supposed to smile.
Y'all, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, All Illusion. How are you?
I was going to say Coach.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I mean, so most of the time in schools with kids, they're teaching them. If you're not in the let's say honors or advanced classes, they don't teach you critical thinking skills. That's right. So, because that's what I not tell anybody. It's once you hit an honors level, it's not hard. The work isn't hard, because what they want you to do is they're looking more for what your thoughts are. They're looking for you read this, and because I love English, so that's one of the things that I kind of focused on. So I was always in honors or advanced English classes. So what they would do is they give you something to read, but they want to know your thoughts on it.
Mm-hmm.
And you write about it. You write what your thoughts are. You discuss it. You're not sitting in class trying to figure out the stuff that which they assume you kind of you learn it. You know what I'm saying? Like you learn your English, but they're teaching you to be more advanced, which just leads you into the other phases of life.
Mm-hmm.
You're always thinking outside of the regular. So you read something and you're seeing deeper into it, and that goes into business. It goes into all your other aspects of life. So I think those things that you're wanting to teach them, I mean, it's so much bigger than just poetry. It's so much bigger than just, because it's going into what are you thinking and how do you process things when you read something. Yeah, it's there for you to read, but there's a reason why you're reading it. What does it get into somebody else's head? What did they mean by it?
Yeah.
What does it mean to you? Those kind of things. And it's important. It's important.
A lot of that has to do with, what's happening in the home. And a lot of parents. So we'll just say what it is. A lot of homes aren't, parents don't have everything they need to give their children. We're still trying to figure out how we can give children the things that we need, you know what I'm saying, and help them, if the parents' mindset isn't there, they can't give the kid what they don't have. That's no skin off of them, but it's just that they don't know, right? And so what I want to do is not only give this to the children, but they can go back home and give it to their parents.
Exactly.
Mom, look at what I learned. Dad, look what I learned. And a lot of times that actually builds the family together. When you come home to your community one day and you got parents and children sitting on the porch reading a book, and they're reading poetry, and they're reading history, and they're reading about things that you normally don't see our children do. And so that happens when you start to implement that in a child. So my mom made us read when we was young. So reading had never been a thing for me. In fact, when I was in school, I could actually skim through my social studies book and bust my test out easily. Reading worked for me because we was taught to read all the time. A lot of children aren't, and a lot of children, they don't like to read because, number one, they don't like what they're told to read. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't interest me. Like, I don't want to read about this stuff that I don't see, that doesn't play a part in my life. And I get it. But if we can teach them how to, whatever you're reading, you can find your magic in that. If you can teach them that, then that's great. But it boils down to just that. The parents, they don't have the patience sometimes. Sometimes life has done some things that they can't focus on that. You know what I mean? And so how do you get the children to respond to the stuff that you need to respond to without giving them what they want? So I don't care if I have to read them poems about their favorite artists. I'll find a way. You know what I mean? I don't care if we have to write poems about stuff that they don't understand. I will make children love jazz and never listen to it. Just writing about it. Let's write about the instruments. And so that's the kind of stuff that I want to do so that their mindsets change and bend to where they say, well, you know what? It might not be that bad. It might not be bad. I might can do something different. But that comes with everything. It comes with having tutoring, all of those programs there. And math, I have to get somebody for math because I'm not a mathematician. I'm a worker.
I can do. Now I love math too. I love math. I don't like when they teach math now. That's confusing as everything. I'm like, how what? Just count 1 + 1. Why you got to draw out a whole graph?
Because the way that they do it is they make them think. It's like they break it down, and because I'm sitting up here trying to do some of this stuff with my children, and I'm like, yo, just do it like this, because I can't figure out how to do it. But I noticed that that's what they're trying to do. Like, they're trying to get them to think outside the box and not just go straight into the problem, which I'm just like, look, 20 + 30 is 50. You don't have to break it down to this 10 plus this 10, and then you go over here, this 10, and this 10, and then let's count all the 10s. Nah, just add that shit.
Okay.
What they got doing it now? Let me try to. I don't know. I can give you the answer. I can show you how to get to the answer using what.
The pen is in there.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to kind of write because the answer is right. That's
Right.
It don't make no sense. I'm like, that's confusing.
And the teachers actually had to learn. Like when my daughter was in what grade? I think she was in first grade, and so the teachers actually had to go and learn how to do this, that stuff just to teach it to them because we didn't. That's not how we learn. So I'm like, why would y'all change this? Because then the teacher don't get it, but then they trying to teach your kid how to get it. They don't get it.
And then y'all want us to teach them now? Like you sending the stuff home for us? No. My kids learn the way I did.
It's called creating confusion on purpose.
If you study the people who created the textbooks for school, find out who they were, and then find out what they think about Black people. That'll answer your questions right then and there. And what I'm saying is that they constructed these textbooks and these ideas and these ways of thinking after studying how Black people think versus other people. And that's why we have no interest in this shit, because it doesn't attach to the spirit. Your spirit runs everything. Your spirit moves through everything. And because these things are so disassociated from our spirits, we don't even want no parts of it. Who doesn't want to learn? Like, who really does, like, I don't want to learn nothing?
Yeah.
Doesn't even make sense.
You say that because I think a lot of us a lot of our kids, I think it's not the fact that they don't want to learn. I think they're bored in class because of how we're being taught.
Yes.
Right.
My daughter, Faith, when she was in school, they did this thing one year where I don't know what they call it, but you have the same teacher for 2 years, like the teachers. And so Faith was very, he is a leader, which some teachers can look at that in a sense and make it negative because the kids are doing what she does. This teacher took it the other way. So I'm going to allow Faith to be that leader, and I will use her strengths to be able to gather the other kids. You know, Faith, I mean, that was like one of her favorite teachers. She loves her.
That's a smart teacher.
Yeah, because you have to look at each one of your kids. You have to know what their gifts are, and you have to recognize that. And because otherwise they're just going to be bored. And then you're teaching them, okay, yeah, you have that leadership skill and it's bad. You know, it's like, no, it's not bad. It's not bad for her to be a leader. She can't help it because these kids do what she do.
Right.
Like, I have to have that conversation.
She can help those kids see something in her that they want to follow. They want to mirror.
Right. Exactly. Older kids too. It's crazy. I have never seen anything like it. I'm like, Faith.
When you're a leader, you're a leader.
Yeah.
Martin King was a leader in what, elementary school?
Yeah, this is elementary school. Yeah. And she's just, but you know, you have to take the time to learn that about your students. Where some teachers, if they're just there for the money, they don't care. You know, it's just, I just want you to sit down, do your work, and shut up. But you know, the kids get bored. If you're not able to use your gifts, if you're not able to think the way that you need to and learn the way that you need to learn, you're going to get bored in class. You get bored and you get frustrated.
Right. And sometimes it's not challenging enough though, because like that's my son is that way. Like he knows, you know, he already grasps a lot of the concepts and a lot of the things. So he gets bored because it's like, yeah, all right, I know this. That's why I love Montessori style teaching. Because with Montessori style, it doesn't matter, you know, whether like you can have a whole room full of fifth, sixth, seventh graders, just say use that grade. And if the fifth grader is understanding on the seventh grade level, then you push them up and you know what I'm saying? And then if they have to go back, then that's fine. But you push them up and it's not a structured. I guess, because I'm not a fan of structure. I think that's one of the stupidest things ever that, you know, I mean, I get disciplined and stuff, but I just think that structure doesn't work because of the fact that people, like you said, Kendra, grasp things on different levels. You know, we all have different type of levels. I'm not a fan of classrooms. I think that learning should be on the outside of a classroom. I think that they should go out and you know, and do things and learn stuff. And I was just having this conversation with YT last night, and we were talking about, you know, learning and teaching the kids. And I said, I wish that I had a collective of parents that were in my area that we could homeschool our kids, and and everybody takes a different subject, and and we figure out a way to teach them that it's not sitting inside of four walls, because their mind, there's no imagination or creativity. These kids, my children will come in and tell me, Mama, I'm bored. And I said, I don't even get how you bored when everything is right here. Like, do you know where you can go in your head? Do you know what you can create inside of your head? Don't tell me you're bored. You just, like y'all, they're dumbing down these kids. They're not giving them any ways to be creative, any ways to really, really think about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You're right, Lucian. That the key is, and I'm gonna say this again. We don't understand that the prison to pipeline situation is real. That's number one. And until we understand, I'm in a Friday evening Zoom that we talk about that. The thing is that there are people who actually look at the school system and tell you how many prisons need to be built in that area.
Right.
And it goes back to what I said previously. The people who have constructed this education system to keep you in control. They know what they're doing. If you can't do this the way they want you to do it, you're not usable. You're not a battery for them. You're not usable. And so we got another place for you. And they actually plan to put you in prison. And I'm talking about from grade school. I'm not talking about middle school or high school. I'm talking about from grade school. And when you look at, I'm going to start posting some more of this stuff. But when you look at the plans that they have in place, as creatives, we don't have a choice but to actually give this shit to our children, because these are people, when we old, that's going to be running this thing.
Right.
And if we don't teach them something, man, we are going to be, if we think we're in trouble now, we got it easy now compared to what it's going to be if we don't fix this shit.
They got the trap set.
Right.
The trap is set. And they're ready for the marching and the protests. They prepared for that stuff. We got to do better. That's why I'm glad me and AJ talk about voting and all that stuff, because that shit is important, man. You know what I'm saying? And we need to put, I want somebody who's a creative to be running for office somewhere. I want them in the local office. In North Carolina right now, they're fighting for us to get 1% of the money. Just 1%. We can't get 1% for the creatives.
Wow.
1%. And I'm saying, you got to, this city, y'all have been in Charlotte. Just driving through Charlotte, you can see it's artists everywhere doing all kinds of things. But we have to fight for this. Why we have to fight for this? Because the creative mind is so powerful that you can't control the creative mind. It's like putting somebody in prison. They tell me, well, I'm fine. As a matter of fact, I watched Hurricane Carter. He said, if being locked in my cell was their way of keeping me in punishment, me refusing to leave my cell takes me out of their punishment. And he didn't leave his cell. He was in jail for 30 years. He was like, I'll stay in my cell until I got a shower, other than that, and go to court. Other than that, I'm staying in here.
Wow.
But he did that in his mind. He said, no, I'm good right here, because he read and he took himself other places. We have to teach our children that you can take yourself any place you want to go here. And if you don't do it here, you can't physically do nothing. You got to see that shit. And that's, again, tapping into what your spirit is saying to you. Your spirit is going to refuse everything that's not good for you instantly. It don't take no time.
Right.
No time.
You got it. That's that inner, as soon as you feel that feeling like, nah, this ain't right, listen, you know what I'm saying? Because the spirit talking to you and it's telling you exactly what it is that you need to do and when something is not right. And you absolutely right about, having creatives in office. It is, I think for me, it's so frustrating to be living in this city when we are absolutely last in education and number one in prison. And to be in such a place that is so full of creativity, like we have music and arts all over the city. The city itself is poetic, and it's artistic in itself. I mean, Kendra, you've been here, so you see all of that here in the city. And for us to not have those programs, and for the people that are in place to not understand that those children need to have these things in order to continue to keep the city what it is. unless you're trying to change the whole dynamic of what you have, then like that's the thing. And that is what I really I want to do. Like I told y'all about this, that's what I want. I want to be able to put all of those things in place for these children to be able to to have that outlet, so they can see themselves in a better way and see the city in a whole different. It is bad. Like we have actually, I know people that tried to run for office, but of course, when you're not popular, and and people don't see you, like they don't know who you are, then they just kind of keep on letting the same stupidity that's been running the school systems. And I will, I mean, I could go on and on, because Katrina really fucked us bad. Like I can't, it really fucked us bad with education.
That was designed too.
All of that was designed, Zach. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
That was designed here.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this. If you look at where the greatest, that's the greatest generation of Black folks have done, right? The dynasties that live, the creatives, the kings always had the creatives around them all the time. I don't care if you was just a joker. That's not the name. I'm trying to think of the name of it. But whatever you done, whatever you would do, the
jester.
The jester, yeah.
The jester, there you go. The king had you around all the time because they knew in you was everything. And so there is so much in Louisiana coming out of Black people naturally. They have to or you would take over. If Nixon said,
I created jazz.
Listen, Nixon said, America's worst enemy is a Black Messiah. A Black Messiah, meaning any Black man or woman who can stand up and lead his people in a way that they can't control is a danger to America. That right there tells you what America stands on. But the thing about it is, that's why they're in Louisiana.
Yeah.
There is so much magic in there because it's the original, it's back to the roots. It's back to what we came from. They're not going to find that in New York like that. They're not going to find it in North Carolina like that. They're not going to find it in LA like that. Louisiana is specifically because of what's in the. AJ said, when you step on the ground, it don't feel like home. Louisiana is one of those places that it reminds you of home. Now, this might not be home, but it reminds me of home because it's so close to what my people used to live with, how they used to live. And that's why it's so important to actually teach better in the area. That's what it is, all designed.
Yeah.
All designed.
It's just so definitely was a political move. I can't, like if y'all ever watched PBS documentaries on how they, even back in the I want to say it was the 50s with Hurricane Betsy, because there were two other ones. It was Betsy and I can't think of the other name, but they show where they literally blew the levees.
Yep.
Then, so you're showing me this documentary about how y'all purposely blew the levees then, and then you say that it didn't happen now. Like, what I'm saying? Like, that's bullshit. I know people that were here that stayed because they didn't have a way to leave, and they heard the explosions. I'm like, people telling me that they heard it. So it's like, you can't tell me that that you didn't want to take over this city. The city was too Black. You know what I'm saying? It was too Black.
I was coaching. I was the athletic trainer for Carolina Cowboys, which was a semi-pro football team here. And one of the quarterbacks has family and had some land in Louisiana. And he said when he went home, he had his folks told him, "Look, we heard the explosions. We heard the explosion." And then next, shit, we underwater. He said that it was so horrible that when they was coming across the bridge with their motorcycles, there were people that were walking. He said it looked like Selma. They were just walking across the bridge. I don't know what bridge it is. He said, man, we had to get off our bikes and just start walking. Wow. He said it was so jacked up. And he said they actually saw the helicopters flying over them and dropping shit off of the white areas. Now, I never been, and this is his words to me. And I'm like, just trying to imagine that shit. Like, they left it. There was a sheriff. I think Farrakhan was giving a lecture. He said there was a sheriff that didn't go home. He was out there trying to work. Then he couldn't find his wife. He said it was a body in the water. He went over to the body, turned it over, and it was his wife in the water, dead. And then he
He could, yeah.
So,
I remember that.
Yeah.
And to think that people designed that shit to happen.
I told y'all about the documentary that my cousin did. I'm gonna see if I can send it to y'all in the group of Vimeo so y'all can watch it. But my and I think I told y'all before about how my like I called him my little brother. We grew up together, and he was military. And when they ended up getting stuck on the roof of our house because they had they were 1-story. We had a 2-story house. So when the water just rushed in, they ran to our house. And that was pretty much what saved them because everything, there was 10 feet of water in our neighborhood. And so he said, like, after so many days, because they videotaped it. My brother left his camera and he was like, yo, videotape whatever you can. And so on the video, you'll see them on the roof of our house and you see, you know, like everything just looks like a lake. And he said on one of the days, the guy came, you know, like the helicopter came around. And he said the guy came down with the basket and he was pretty much eye level with him and looked at him and took off. And they didn't come back to rescue him until like the next day. And he said that you know, like that hurt him. He said that took all of the fight out of him. He was like, because it hurt him to know that the military, he's military. He said, and that dude, he didn't know nothing about me. He didn't know that I was a fellow, that I was a fellow army man just like him. He said all he did, he looked at me, he saw the color of my skin and left. And
how did you leave? Like how did you get out in that time?
Oh well, I left the day before. Like,
so you left before Katrina hit.
Yeah, I left the day before. I was laying on my sofa. We had just given my goddaughter a birthday party, and I was laying on the sofa, and I heard Category 5 in my sleep. I heard Category 5. When I tell you, I jumped up. I went across the street, and I told my friend, I said, y'all pack y'all shit. We leaving. You know what I'm saying? I was like, everybody, I don't care how we go. I think her mom and them were in at her house because they had a mandatory evacuation because, see, they lived further down in the, towards the lower levels, the lower lying places that totally got, really, really messed up. And so I was like,
they wanted.
Yeah, I said, we leaving, like, let's go. We packed up the car. We put everybody in. We were trying to get as many people to leave with us. We were like, look, y'all, let's go. Some people, but like 2 of the girls that we were trying to get to leave with us, they didn't leave. They stayed. And so we were hearing reports from them, like about what was going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, nah, they say 5. And if you would have said 3, I'm still going. I don't care. But there was like 5. We have never heard that number ever, reported that it was that close. It was like the day before, and it's like that close, and it's Category 5. So I'm like, nah.
For people who've never been to Louisiana, been there, you don't understand what the levee is. Yeah, I think I told you the story. I was looking for like a big dam. Like here we have dams, so that's what I thought it was because that's what they kept calling it. And so, when I came, I was looking, and I'm like, okay, so where's this levee? Where is it? Because I'm thinking it's like one thing. Like I tell you, the guy on the side of the road, we stopped, and he's like, no, he's like, the levee's right there. And I'm like, where? I'm looking all over the place.
Right. It's like you're standing on top of it, and you're like, where is it? You're standing.
Yeah, that's what they kept telling me. It's like it's right there. They probably thought something was seriously wrong with me because I kept asking everywhere I went. Can you show me what the levee is?
You get a pass on this one, Kendra.
Right.
Maybe.
It was bad. Yeah, but so we literally, because they kept telling us, and so we were riding. We had got to this big intersection, and people told us, they were like, just stop. You walk right there, and there it is. And so we pulled over on this little country road. This black guy comes out of the house. He's like, it's 4 black women, and we're in a, he's like, what are y'all doing? Like, can you show us where the levee is? And he's like, the levee? He's like, it's right there.
I'm going to tell you, we come from a people who use anybody to teach our children. No, you can't teach. We are teaching our children. We come from tribes that's what we taught our children, and we have to get back to that. The pandemic is making that a possible thing. The pandemic is teaching you that listen, you got to homeschool your children because the shit they doing at home on that computer, they doing the same thing in school. If children are learning in school and working in school, they're gonna do it at home. If they're not doing it at home, they're doing the same thing they're doing when they was in school. And if we don't take advantage of what's happening now, nobody should send their kids back to school. Everybody should be homeschooling now. Take what they give you, that's fine. Now, this is your practice shit because we're going to teach when I get off, when I'm finished. We got to be that disciplined when teaching our children. That's what my program is. That's it. If you cannot learn, we're going to help you learn how to learn. Somebody's going to sit with you right here and make sure you can read, and we ain't going to tell nobody you can't read. We're going to help you read.
Right.
Because when I was in school, the black teachers, I remember Miss Yawn used to do it, and I had a Miss Yawn and I had Miss John. They were both, kind of big black women, but they would come to your desk and sit down and read with you. And if you couldn't read well, they helped you. And they sent you to you're going to go to so-and-so down at the library. And this was in grade school. And these kids can't read now. They just put you in front of a computer, and now they want you to fucking just click on the green thing and then click on the orange thing. That ain't teaching me nothing. I can see.
Yeah.
Right.
And we have to get to the point that matters now. We got to teach these children. My program is set to teach children. Of course, I want adults to learn. I want adults to learn. But I want more for adults to heal. My writing for adults is for them to heal more than learn. So they're still going to learn, but I need them to heal. Because if you don't heal, you can't help these kids. I want the kids to learn. I want them to learn how they can start to heal themselves. And if it's not working, then I can go and get help. It's okay because I tried.
Yeah.
But it starts with teaching them how kids should be teaching their parents. Your kids should go to school and be able to come back and teach you some stuff that you didn't know. And why they can't do it.
Right. Because they're actually in that environment learning at that time. So they should be able to, what one thing that I wish that they still did was, I don't know about y'all, but we had look, I'm with you, Tiffany. Okay.
Me too.
You gotta go some small. So that is why I say a collective of of people to have to homeschool, because that's a lot. That is a lot to put on one person. You know what I'm saying? And that's why they're have different teachers and different things. But I think the one thing that is missing is the summer reading programs. When you had a list of books that you could choose from, and you have to read those books and do reports. We had that. And you know what I'm saying? And it was like one of those things where when you were saying it might not be what you want to read. Well, here's a list.
Yeah.
Find something that you want to that might interest you, but you have to read this and do a report. And we don't do that. I did that to my kids. I was like, because they at school they give everybody a library card. Like they just started this, I think the year before last, where everybody has the opportunity to sign up to get a library card. And then they have the library in school also, where they can check the books out. But I'm like, yo, listen, find a book that you want to read. You know what I'm saying? And read that book and then let me know what it's about. Like, y'all got to do a paper or write something about it. And I'm like, we're not sitting up here, just because my son doesn't like to read. He is one of them. He don't like to read. And I'm like, but you have, how do you, how are you expanding? How do you want to expand your mind? Because it can't just be sitting up there on this damn game. Playing. I'm like, because that's not giving you anything. It's not, there's no creativity within that. So find a book, what I'm saying? And that's like, I really wish that they would still do that. I think some schools do, but there's certain schools that don't, like the schools that are not as advanced. I would say we're going to be nice about it because, like they're not as advanced as others. And something else. Oh, you were saying about, see, this is me. You know what I'm saying? No offense to people that are, that white folks, because, I ain't got nothing against you. But I think that we should teach, that we should have Black teachers in Black schools to teach our children, because there's a difference when you don't understand where where these kids could possibly be coming from. When you are placed in a situation with children where you can't even understand their home life, for one, because there are a lot of these kids that's out here that their home life is not what it's not good for them. So when you can't understand where these kids are coming from because their home is messed up, and then they come to school acting out because of what happened in their house, and then you thinking that the kid's just bad. No, there's something going on. So a lot of times we are able to, kind of to look at it and pull it out. And that goes back to spirit. Something in your spirit got to be telling you something wrong. One of my track girls walked up to practice Tuesday, and I looked at her, I said, "You okay?" She said, "Yeah, I'm fine." I said, "I'm gonna let you go ahead on with that one. You're not telling me the truth, because everything in me tells me right now that something is not right."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "But I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go with that, and we're gonna come back and talk about it."
Yeah.
So we have to be able to to have those people in place, our people in place, to be able to teach our kids. Because my son's teacher, she white, she called me and she said, he's acting up and, this, that, and the other. I don't know, whatever it was that he was doing. And then she said something about how, I know she wanted to say black kids, but she ain't say it. It was the way that she said the shit. It was like, well, because if they're doing this at in school, and then they're possibly doing that at home, whatever she was saying. And I was like, I ain't got no problem. And I had to say, so I have no problem with my child at home. I said, what I'm saying? I said, I don't know what's going on in that classroom, because I don't have a problem with him at home. Now, I did tell her, I said, but if you need me to come up in that classroom, I'm coming. Because they have a resource officer that sit outside. I said, I'm going to bring the resource officer in there with me. So when he, what I'm saying? So we can make sure that everything is, because I don't know what's going on, but I'm like, we ain't got no problem in my house. Because she was trying to say something, she was trying to infer. I'm like,
you have these timid teachers. It's like if you're going into a classroom of kids, you can't be timid going in there to teach them. Like, you've got to know who you are. You've got to take control of your classroom. And that's in any situation. I don't care if it's, wherever you are, if you're in control of something or you're the main person, you have got to be able to take control of that. And you have timid teachers who don't want to take care of it. So what they do is they put the blame on the child. The blame is on you not taking control of that classroom, period. Not saying in all situations, that's, I would never say, because but you still have to be able to take control of this. Because if a kid, I don't care how old that child is, I don't care how good, they gonna see what your weaknesses are, and they gonna be on it. And if all you showing is weakness, they gonna eat you alive.
Absolutely.
Another thing too is that we got to remember that even as far as down to budgeting in a household, Black women have a way to teach how to budget with nothing. Mm-hmm. And so when we say, if you're on here and you're not Black, here's what I'm saying to you. You don't control the system. So don't think we're not talking about you. We're not talking about all white people. We don't hate white people, but we just trying to tell you the facts of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And what they don't understand is they don't have it to teach what they don't understand. It's just what you said, Illusion. You can't teach me what it's like to come home and we only got bologna in there, and it ain't no bread, and we're making a bologna sandwich out of a piece of meat and cheese and put mayonnaise in between that. If you've never lived that, you can't tell me about that. I've been to friends' homes who've done that, and we got to have beans and rice with every meal because it fills us up. We've been in those households before, and people who have not been there can't teach me from that if you haven't experienced that.
Right.
I think when we say, trying to tell white people, listen, we're not talking about all of y'all. Y'all don't control the situations. Y'all don't control this environment, but this is a control thing. And then people need to understand that this is a programming that's set. It's just like Dr. Allen said, we asked to be a part of their system. We asked to be, actually people died marching for that. People voted for that. We asked for it. But we've come to find out later that it doesn't apply to us. It's not helpful in no way. Right. Not to us. It doesn't help us. Yes, some make it through. I don't remember what I learned in second grade. I don't remember. Hell, I still can't. Algebra gets on my nerves. Anytime you put numbers and letters together, I'm asking for somebody to come help me. You know what I'm saying? But I don't use it nowhere else. So why are we even learning it?
Right. We need practical things. That was what I was talking to YT. I said our children need to learn how to, gardening. You need to learn how to, learn how to sustain a garden, learn how to take care of a household. I don't care if you're a male or female. Learn how, learn money, learn how to budget, learn all of these different things. I get, Aristotle and Plato wrote some, some whatever fire shit, if that's how you feel it was good. I get that. Where in your life are you really going to use that? Unless you want to be one of those people that just need to be in circles to talk about some stuff that happened way back then with your little tea and crumpets, and that's cute. That's real cute. But no, it's not practical. You know what I'm saying? Like where we took they've taken, what is it? When they used to have like Votex stuff in the schools. So you could give these children something to, like they used to learn how to work on cars. You had shop class. You had all of these different things where they actually learn. We took home ec, where you actually learned how to do something. I learned how to sew. And I didn't know, what I'm saying? Like I learned how to sew. Can't do it now, but I'm just saying. But it's a whole lot of things that everything is a put it neatly in a box, type thing. And, and you can't go outside of the box. We can't teach you how to live your life. Yeah. And that's the problem. It's like we're not teaching them how to be productive. So, humans in a productive society. We're teaching them how to get up in the morning, put on a uniform just like everybody else, and go in and walk into the factory and get on the conveyor belt and churn out. You know what I'm saying? Like this is we producing robots.
Yeah. We're exactly what they want us to be.
Right. We're not producing people out here that know how to learn and, not learn, but know how to think for themselves, know how to, create the factories that somebody else might want to go into.
Yeah.
Everybody, it's crazy. I hate it. I hate the system. I hate the way I am so I'm so anti the system. But like you said,
it takes us as parents or, anyone. It takes us being a part of that as well. Like even though you have kids, you have children that are in school, but you have got to be active in that. You've got to be active in, I think I've said that before, but my sister, my nephew, he is autistic.
Yeah.
They had him in what they call the LD classes for a long time. Well, my sister and her husband, they insisted on him being mainstreamed. So it got to that point. He graduated from one of the biggest schools here in our area, Dorman High School. He graduated from there with honors.
Wow.
And went to college. And he's autistic.
Wow. Wow.
So you can't tell me what can't be done.
That's right.
It takes time, it takes effort, but it can be done. So it's like, that's typically saying you have to have that village. It takes everybody working together to be able to get stuff done. But that's our problem, which is a whole other show, right?
Right.
We don't want to work together.
We enjoy, why? We enjoy too. I'm going to tell you why. When we started breaking down, when we started watching shows like Jerry Springer and all this stupid shit.
Yeah.
Because what people don't realize, what you feed your mind, what you watch on TV, feeds your mind, feeds your spirit. And now we can't trust nobody. We can't this, we can't that. And we've developed this stupid ideas of everybody is against me kind of thing. Nobody knows more than 3 of their neighbors on their block. Makes no sense. We used to go outside as kids in New York City and we'd go from corner to corner and everybody by their first name. That's Miss So-and-so. That's Mr. So-and-so. That's so-and-so father. That's their grandfather drunk in the car. This one drive the truck. We knew all of that. Now you don't know nobody. You don't know nobody. Man, I hate that this show is ending. Oh my gosh, but this is a conversation we got to revisit. Let me end it with this. Thank y'all so much for being here. Today is the best day to be the best you. Get out on your good foot and start today. We've talked about a lot. We got a lot of work to do. Family. We are family. We need to work together to make sure our communities are better than what they are now. We have everything we need to do it. We just got to get out there and do it. Let's support one another and make this life great. I love y'all. Y'all be blessed. Y'all be peace. And we will see y'all very soon. Talk to you later.